Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Motale Pule, or Pule for short. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for dropping in. And if this is not your first time, thank you for tuning in and stepping back by. In today's video, I'm gonna be talking about the Daniel fast, my journey with the Daniel fast, my experience with it, and the results of the fast. I had, at the time when I took the fast, my spiritual walk was strong. At the time, I was so much in love with God. I loved the Lord so much. I was going to church Friday, Saturday, Sunday every week. It was the best time ever. It was the best time, really. I was sitting at home. I wasn't employed at this time, but I was a volunteer tutor at one high school that was close to my home. So I decided to go into the fast. And then, well, I was a tutor on and off, volunteer, so I wasn't getting paid to do it. So one day, I think it was in August, I decided, okay, I'm gonna fast for 21 days. At the time, I didn't really have like a huge reason to fast, really. I just wanted to get closer to God. I wanted to grow spiritually even more. Obviously, before you start a fast, you pray to God and say, okay, I'm gonna take this fast for this long. It's gonna be a Daniel fast, so I'm not gonna be eating at all for 21 days and 21 nights. That's how it was. I went 21 days and 21 nights without eating at all. Why did I decide to do the fast? I didn't really have like a huge reason to do the fast, really. I wanted to grow spiritually. I wanted to get closer to God. I wanted to understand the matters of the spirit more. I wanted to see if I could do it. I wanted to, obviously just pray for the grace of God to cover me in certain things and to help me in different things, as far as my path spiritually is concerned. What am I called to do? What can I excel in ministry? What can I do? Such things, the spiritual gifts of God that I can impart. So I started in August, and it went on for 21 days. So what did I do? Did I really not eat for 21 days and 21 nights? Yes, I did not eat any food at all. I was only drinking water and juice. I made sure not to take fizzy drinks, because fizzy drinks give you, they kind of wake you up. And the purpose of fasting really is to remain at a, I don't know if this is for everybody, but the purpose of a fast is to remain at like a certain level, in as far as energy wise and everything. So I would do water and juice. So juice, I would do the diluted kind of juice. I would do like 100% juices. Sometimes I remember there was a day where I was chilling outside with my late brother, and I was squeezing oranges into a cup. Like I was squeezing orange juice. I just like squeezing with my hand. It was quite difficult. The first day it was fine, because I had, obviously I had fasted before, but just not as long as this time around. So it was hectic. Honestly, it was hectic. By the time I reached day 14, I just wanted to stop, because it was so it was a lot. It was a lot. Like, you have no energy whatsoever. At that point, you don't have energy. So I would I would be like, okay, am I gonna really go for another week? Am I really gonna do this? And I'm like, yes, I'm gonna do this. So I kept going and I kept going, I kept going until I reached 21 days. So yes, that's all I had: water and juice. I think maybe at some point, like, I had a glass of like a fizzy drink, maybe twice or once a week, just to, if there were days where I needed a lot of energy like to do something, then I think I would take like a glass of a fizzy drink, because it has a lot of sugar, so it would activate me a bit. How did my prayer schedule look? I prayed morning, afternoon, at night. It would, as far as an exact time, I wouldn't have like an exact time, like this is the time that especially in the during the day, I wouldn't have like a time where I'm like, okay, this time I'm going to pray, or like at 12 I have to pray, or at 3 I have to pray, or whatever. I didn't do that. There is a huge rock close to my home, like a huge rock, just, it's not high, it's just like this big rock that you have to walk up. It's big. I don't know, it's like I don't know how to measure it, like the distance of it and the height of it. I'll post the picture. I would go there in the mornings to pray, because it's high up. People can see that there's somebody on the mountain, I mean on the rock, but they can't hear what you're saying. So I would go up there and I would pray there. So what I would do is I would take my phone and I would use prayer points a lot. um One thing that I'm gonna be honest about is that I can pray on my own. Yes, I can pray, but when I have like a targeted issue for that day, say this today I really want to, if the Holy Spirit impresses on me to pray on something, for whatever that is, I trust that I trust that prayer points are very, very, very effective. And I would get most of my prayer points from evangelistjoshua.com. I think it's .com. That website is amazing. If you want prayer points regarding anything, you can go on there. If you're hearing me saying this and then you're saying to yourself, well, why do you need prayer points when you're fasting? Look, we know things, but we don't know everything. We know how to pray to a certain extent. There are things that when you pray on your own, you get to a point where you like forget, or there are points that you don't address. So when you use prayer points, you know that you're hitting the nail on the head. You know that you got all your basics and whatever covered. You know, if I'm praying for healing, if I'm praying for strongholds that are holding my life back, there are people who know more than I do. There are people who have been praying more than I pray. There are people who have recorded prayers. There are people who know how to deal with certain things than I do, more than I do. So I trust that. So I use prayer points. Even now I use prayer points. I use prayer points a lot. I can pray, yes, far better than I used to know how to. I used prayer points and they were very effective. So that's how I would pray. I would go onto to the rock I think every day, or almost every day, and then I would pray in the morning, I pray at night, I would read the word, I would read the word. And yes, so what were the outcomes of the Daniel fast for me? Okay, I remember, I can give a testimony. There was this woman that I was close to at the time, and she used to tell me like she has this problem whereby she would be sitting and then all of a sudden she get this huge heat wave. I think she was 36, 37 at this point. So she told me that she would have this huge wave, and then there would be something wrong with her, and then she would feel like passing out. Like her face would heat up. I'm not talking about menopause. I'm talking about somebody who was that young. Her face would just start to get so hot, and then she would get like flustered, like her ears would block, and she would feel like passing out. And it had been happening for quite a long time. I remember one day during these days of the fast, I went to her place, and then I sat there, and all of a sudden this wave came all over me. Everything, all the the symptoms that she had given me, I started to experience them. And so as this was happening, I said to her, do you feel like this? Do you feel like this? Do you feel like this when this is happening to you? She said yes. And then I also mentioned things that she didn't tell me, and she was like, yes, that's how I feel. And it was then that I said, okay, I think the Holy Spirit had just made me feel how you feel when you're going through that. And then I was able to pray for her from that. I was able to pray for her. So that's where, number one, I got the spiritual impartation to actually be able to pray for the sick. And number two, when I was in high school, I didn't eat meat, because every time when I eat, well, not all meat, but when I eat beef, I would get allergies, just like from here, just brass strap down. I would be itching and scratching all day, and then I would get like little, I would have an allergic reaction. So I would be scratching like all day. And then I thought maybe it's just me. I kept eating beef. The allergic reaction kept going on, and then I stopped beef altogether. After the fast, I felt led to eat meat. So I started eating beef. I ate beef for the first time after quite a number of years, and nothing happened. I was like, ate it again, nothing happened. I was like, okay, this was my deliverance. So I was grateful for that deliverance. Number three, because I was unemployed at the time, when I started eating again, I decided to go office door to door looking for work in town. There was this place, this street, it was quite a number of law firms, so like attorney, small attorney offices. So I went into the first one. There was really, they took my CV, but never got a word from them. I went to another one, they took my CV, didn't get a word from them. I went to others, and then there was really nothing. And then I went to this other one. I got there, and the reception area was empty. There was no one there. Remember, at this point, I'm a university graduate, but I don't have a job because I'm not staying in the big city where jobs are. I went into this other attorney office, and then when I got there, I was like, okay, I'm looking for a job and blah 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 blah. And then the owner interviewed me, and not interviewed me, he just asked me a couple of questions. So, okay, what would I benefit from having you here? And then I said, I spoke, and then I gave him answers to the few questions, which was, I think, maybe like around 5 questions that he asked me. And he said, okay, my reception area is empty, you can come and work for me. I said, oh, okay, thank you. And then he's like, come tomorrow. I'm like, I live 100 kilometers away, how am I gonna come tomorrow? So I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna do that. I went home. The next morning, I went to the job. I think towards end of August, I started working there. Fast forward a month later, in October, a friend of mine got me an interview with a friend of hers that she had met on Twitter. So my friend was like, so are you still in the looking for a job? I'm like, girl, yes. And then she's like, okay, cool, I will hook you up with this other guy, and you'll come to Joburg. And then, yeah, and then the guy calls me. It's like, okay, would you please come for an interview, blah 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 blah. And yeah, I packed everything. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get this. I feel so confident that I'm gonna get this position. So I packed a suitcase, my stuff, and I left. I went to Joburg. Got to Joburg, had the interview with the guy, and he literally said to me, the job is yours, I'm just doing the interview for formality purposes, but the job is yours. I was so happy, because obviously my friend put in a good word for me, and I will be eternally grateful for her. I have a job, I'm interviewing for another job, and then I get this job at the attorney firm. I was getting paid 1.5 a month, 1,500 rand. At the end of the month, the money that I'm getting is like 900 rand because I spent the rest of it on transport advance. So from getting paid 1,500 rand to my first work, I think I started on October 12th and I got paid 4,000 something. So the second month I was getting 7k plus. What I can tell you about the Daniel fast is that it works. First, for health purposes, it definitely works. Number two, you're gonna lose a lot of weight if you're going into a fast with an intention like I want to achieve this, and that is spiritual and it is for the benefit of others. God will arise for you. You know, if you're fasting maybe for work, God will have mercy on you. God is a very principled God, so his grace is sufficient. His mercies are very, 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 very great towards us, and he is faithful. So would I tell anyone to do a Daniel fast? Absolutely yes. If you're in tip-top health, do it. If you are taking chronic medication, seek medical advice from your doctor first. This was my Daniel fast testimony, so thank you so much. I will see you guys next time. Bye.